In this video, I'm going to show you how to play in two of the toughest conditions that most players have to deal with, which is the wind and the sun. So stay tuned if you want to learn a couple easy tips to learn how to deal with the wind and sun in any situation. So like I said, in this video we're going to talk about two of the biggest conditions that most tennis players have the biggest problem facing, which is the wind and the sun. Now, the first thing I want to tell you, and the reason why this video is so important, is because if you don't know how to play in the wind and the sun, you're going to always struggle playing players in these kind of conditions. And the number one thing that you want to consider when you're playing in the wind or the sun is your mindset. Most people think when I'm playing in the wind or the sun that they're the only person dealing with the situation. But really, both players are dealing with the same kind of conditions. So whenever you take it personal and you say, you know what, you come off the court and you're like, you know what, I had the wind in my face and the sun, was blowing, or not blowing, but it was shining in my eye. You know what, your opponent had the same thing. So first of all, cut out all the excuses, okay? They're dealing with the same thing that you are. Now, how do we want to start learning to play better in the wind and the sun? First of all, the mindset you want to have is that you want to play with the wind and play with the sun. What do I mean by that? Adjust your strategies and your tactics to play along with the wind, or have the wind help you and the sun help you, versus going out and playing a strategy or tactics that don't help you at all. As you can see, it's really windy today, and this is why I want to talk about this. So let me give you a couple ideas and things to think about first when you walk on the court. Like again, I'm going to stress this. The mindset is we're both dealing with the same thing. I just have to adjust the way I'm handling it. So let's talk about the sun first of all. Whenever you're dealing with the sun, realize what side of the court you're going to be playing on that has to deal with the sun. So if, let's say, the sun right now is in my face this way, if I'm on that side of the court, of my opponent's side, it's a great opportunity to lob me and make me have to deal with hitting overheads in the sun if you're on that side. If I'm on this side, what I have to consider is making sure that I can position my body, hopefully, that I don't have to deal with the sun. Sometimes I'll use my left hand to kind of block out the sun if an overhead's coming up. Sometimes I might even let the overhead bounce so I can let it bounce a little bit lower and not have to deal with the sun, depending on where it is. Now, second, the wind, which is, as you can see, blowing really hard today. First thing you want to understand is where is the wind blowing. Now in this case today, the wind's blowing in my face. So one of the tactics and strategies that I might adjust is I don't need to kind of spin and lift the ball. I need to hit through the wind, okay, which is going to really make me have to drive my forehand or my backhand or my ground strokes. The other thing is I want to make sure is I have to play the ball pretty deep, do my best. Because since the wind's blowing against me, if my opponent is able to hit the ball in any sort of corner, the wind's going to take it that much faster and really push me behind the baseline. And you don't want to get stuck far behind the baseline with the wind blowing in your face. That's just not a good recipe. The other thing you want to think about if you're, let's say, on the other side and the wind's going in the direction you're hitting, is that you don't want to hit through the ball. You want to add more spin, okay? You want to make sure you use the wind as an aid. Instead of trying to really hit through the ball, you're going to probably take a little pace off, add more spin, and let the wind carry the ball to your opponent. You can hit it a tiny bit higher with enough spin to make the ball really bounce up. But be careful, because if you hit it too high, the ball's just going to fly. Basically, if you're on the side that you have the wind blowing with you, you want to really focus on controlling the middle of the court. The other thing to think about when we talk about where's the wind coming from is you basically have, I think, three different possibilities. The wind's either going to be swirling, of which if the strategies and tactics you're going to want to do is probably keep the ball down the middle, and it becomes a game of consistency or who's going to move in to the net. The wind could be blowing across the court, which then you have to adjust your cross-court patterns. If the wind is blowing this way and I'm hitting my forehand cross-court, I have to start aiming my cross-court forehand towards the middle and not towards the corner, because the wind's going to carry it further wide. If I'm playing my backhand, I can actually hit the ball more to the backhand corner because the wind's going to still adjust it. Just the same, if the wind's blowing the other side, I have to make those adjustments. You want to adjust your tactics and strategies that you're using to play with the wind. And I think one of the biggest things why most people struggle with is they want to play their game. They want to go, I'm just going to play my game. And what happens is the wind, the sun take your game style and it eats it up and throws it out the window. So you have to play with the wind, with the sun. So these are a couple really good mindsets to have and things to think about when you're going out there and you're playing in these conditions. If you like this video, make sure you check out my new site at TotalTennisDomination.com. Subscribe to this YouTube and sign up for my newsletter so you can get all the free great videos and other things and promotions I send out about different things that you can use to help your game. This is Kevin Garlington, and play tough.